What's good, pretty gang? What's good? It's your girl Rachel, back with another video. What's up? Welcome back to my channel, Rachel Live Plus That's Life. I know this has been a long overdue video. I know. So if you
ever wondered how to get a work from home job, what that entails, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to answer some questions that I got. So stay tuned if you want to know how to get a work from home job and everything that it entails as far as the interview process goes, pay, if you need a phone line, landline, like all that. I'm going to discuss that with you now. So ever wondered, girl, you've worked from home for the past 2 years, like what does that entail? The current company that you're working for, this, that, and the third. Calm down, girlfriend, calm down. I'm going to answer that for you now. So the company that I'm going to start working for coming up Monday, October 22nd, is called Alorica. Basically that interview process was pretty simple. All of it, a good portion of it was done virtually. So I basically answered a bunch of virtual questions over the phone, from my computer and calling in on my cell phone. This job does require, this one that I'm currently going to start working for, does require that you have a landline. So I do have a landline through my internet provider. And it also has to entail that you have to have all your call features taken off, like call waiting, call forwarding, voicemail, caller ID. Those have to be taken off. The computer setup was pretty easy. You do have to have the Ethernet cable connected directly to your computer, either your desktop or your laptop. You can work from either or, as long as it has 2.2 gigahertz processor and I believe 8 gigs of RAM or 4 gigs of RAM. So what else? I got sidetracked. The interview process, started talking about interview process, this went straight into my bad. The interview process, like I was saying, was pretty simple. Basically virtual. I talked to one person on the phone, the HR person over the phone once. She emailed me 2 times, and then I talked to her over the phone to just discuss the gist of the job, what that entails, the training, and pay, and when it starts. So basically this job is Monday through Friday. From schedule after training could be from my schedule after training could be from 6 a.m. Central to 6 a.m. Central to 6 p.m. Central, which my time is 7 to 7 on the Eastern time zone. So if you're on the East Coast, your schedule could be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Guaranteed 40 hours. You have to work 40 hours. Basically strictly just customer service. There's no selling involved. You work Monday through Friday, so you have your weekends off. Yay. Hopefully they'll work with me when I'm going back to school next year. So we'll cross that milestone when I get there. So that is the current job that I will be currently working starting the 22nd. So my last job, which was just strictly part-time, was technical support, which was with Telenetwork. That interview process was basically like the same with the Alorica. I did, but the difference is I only did one virtual interview and internet testing. So they'll test your internet speed and they need to know your specs of your computer. With Telenetwork, it had to be a 3.0 or more gigahertz processor, and it had to be, of course, connected to your Ethernet, no Wi-Fi, and it had to be like a 21-inch desktop screen. So it really couldn't be a laptop, which I went from taking calls to just strictly over the chat support. So I ended up switching to my laptop instead of my desktop because my desktop went down at one point, but it's back up and running. So I did do my laptop for a little bit. I still technically do that job, but not as much as I would like to. Henceforth, why I have the new job with Alorica. Telenetwork, you didn't have to have a landline. It was VoIP, voice over internet phone. So basically we had to set up like this phone service on the desktop, and that's how the calls were routed, was through the internet. So no phone landline there. What else? That was it with Telenet. Telenet was kind of just technical support, basically helping people with their internet connection or their it was internet and phone issues if they were having issues with their phone service. They were pretty simple. You could either do full-time or part-time, so I ended up doing part-time because it was easier, and I didn't have the weekends off. But now I do with them, with the chat support part side of it. But I think that's it. And then I worked for a company called Concentrics, which basically was sales, customer service, and kind of basically is more sort of sales, selling certain products. I can't really, well, yeah, I can. I don't work for them anymore. I was selling Apple products at the time. So the newest iPhone, MacBook, whatever they had going on at the time, I could pretty much sell it. Would have to sell it, which wasn't very fun because girl she can sell, but not like I wanted to, and not how they were wanting. So I ended up getting moved from Apple to TurboTax because it was tax season. So I was doing Apple from June to about November, and then moved to TurboTax, which was strictly technical support, helping someone navigate the TurboTax website and how to get them logged into TurboTax, and making sure where their tax refund was and how long it was going to take to process. So that was pretty simple with them, with TurboTax. That was seasonal, so I ended up not getting moved back to Apple, strictly because my sales weren't where they wanted to be. Not because I couldn't sell, they wanted particular sales, and yeah, I wasn't making that sales quota. It's not like I wasn't trying, but I wasn't getting where I wanted to. And then before that, so I was with Concentrics for a good, I was close to my 1-year mark before they couldn't move me back to Apple. So I could always go back to Concentrics if I wanted to. But they're not really they're hiring, but it's more so for customer service, like sales support. And I think that's particularly with Apple. So yeah, I can't go back there at the moment. Maybe I can, but for right now, I'm fine with going to Alorica and doing strictly customer service and it's basically taking payment. Then I worked, Sitel, which was strictly it was sales, and it was more customer service and placing orders for people for Toys R Us. That interview process was all over the phone. Telenetwork, let me go back to him real quick. I had to do an over the phone virtual camera interview at 1.2 in the internet process. So you have to have like a webcam, and you can do a laptop as long as your laptop has a 3.0 gigahertz processor and it's able to connect to your internet through an Ethernet cable. That's something that, yeah, with Telenetwork you definitely have to have, because the webcam, you'll use it during training. With training with Telenetwork, it was only like 2 weeks of training, 1 week of training with a trainer, and then another week with someone assisting you with taking phone calls. So you basically took a 1 week of learning, and then the second week you were taking phone calls. With Concentrics, it was 6 weeks, I believe, of classroom training, and then 2 weeks of literally taking phone calls, but there's someone there that can help you with the phone calls and help you, work on what you need to work on with those phone calls. So that's pretty easy. I love that. Telenetwork, that's the one thing I didn't like about them, was the training was short and they threw you right into taking phone calls, which I didn't really like. That's one thing I didn't like with them. Sitel, the interview process, like I was saying, was strictly over the phone. You did have to do a drug test, which they paid for. And you did have to get verified. All of them, you have to do an I-9 process, verify who you are. and have it either with Telenetwork that had to be authorized by someone, a real, like someone can authorize and say, hey, this is who they are. And then Sitel and Concentrix, it had to be notarized by a notary public. So luckily for me, I knew people that could do it. Sitel, had to do a drug test with them, which they paid for, which all of these jobs require, you have to make sure, I would definitely highly recommend making sure that those, like Alorica, Concentric, Sitel, Telenetwork, that when you go apply for them, make sure that they're hiring in your specific state. Because a lot of these companies don't hire in certain states. Like for me, I'm in North Carolina, so they all were hiring within the U.S. in North Carolina. Some are hiring in the U.S. A lot of them are hiring in the U.S., but there's specific states that they don't hire in. I don't know why, but that's just how they are. So I would definitely recommend doing that, making sure if you do want to apply, make sure that they're hiring in your state. Sitel didn't require a landline. They did require a landline, but they sent, let's see, Concentrix and Sitel sent the equipment. Alorica and Telenetwork did not, because all the equipment was basically, I could download it to my desktop or laptop. So that's pretty much what I did with Sitel and Concentrix. They sent me what I needed, which was the little hardware, like MacBook hardware, and then that was it with that. I had to have my own phone line, like my own phone. So I have my own phone, purchased like a little small cheap little phone that you can get on Amazon, little keypad, dial pad, that comes with its own headset, and phone, just plug up your phone line to it, simple as that. With Sitel, they sent phone, they sent router, they sent like the little Ethernet box as well. They sent the Ethernet cable. So I had to basically set all that up. Like, so I set up the little box with the Ethernet cable, plugged in the phone how I needed to, basically daisy rigged the phone from the little Ethernet box that they sent. So I guess that would technically be via voice over IP, voice over internet phone, because technically it was ran through the Ethernet. It ran through the box, the router, not a wireless router, but the Ethernet. Well, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think, make sure I tell you guys. I don't want to make this video long, but I also don't want to leave anything out. I told you the company that I'm currently working for. I told you all the ones I've worked for. So I worked for Concentrix. Sitel was the first one I worked for, then Concentrix, and then Telenetwork, and now Alorica. Sitel was kind of permanent. Well, no, it was temporary. And then I got moved to TurboTax, so I would pretty much just moved from TurboTax and then went. So a lot of them were seasonal positions, not all of them were permanent. Alorica is a permanent position. Telenetwork is a permanent position as well. Some of them require landlines, some don't. Some just require VoIP, which is voice over internet phone. And a lot of them will check to make sure that your features are not on. Like today, Alorica, I had to call in on the bridge, and they had to make sure that my landline was like busy, like, so I don't get another, so call waiting had to be to make sure call waiting was off. Y'all will hear about that in the vlog, but I got that checked and make sure I could get into Adobe Connect, because a lot of these jobs, you're just basically sitting on your computer in a virtual classroom, learning from the trainer, and a lot of it is trainer-led and self-led, which means basically you'll learn from the trainer, you'll go over what you need to go over for the day, and then you basically relearn what you learned today, or vice versa. You'll go and learn what you need to learn for today, and then the trainer will go over what you learned for the day. Some of them do require that you pass a test. With Concentrix, I had to pass a test. Sitel, I had to pass a test, and Telenetwork, I I had to pass like 6 tests with Telenetwork in order to even go take phone calls. And it had to be like an 80 or better. And then with Concentrix, I had to take 2 tests and pass. Sitel, no, I didn't have to take any test with them. Not for that particular campaign that I was working on. I didn't have to. So I think that's it. If I missed anything, comment below and I'll definitely do another one of these sit down videos because I didn't want to make this too long. But yeah, back to this working thing full time. Thank God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Because your girl I was like, I can't do this part time. So if there's anything else y'all want to know about working from home, let me know in the comments below or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, and I will definitely answer those questions for you in the message. But hopefully I answered all your questions on how to get a work from home job and what it entails, the interview process, and the pay. With Sitel, it was $10.25. No, it was $10 an hour. Concentrix was $10. Telenetwork was $10, and Alorica is $9. And the pay is that every 2 weeks. Pay is every 2 weeks. All of them except for Telenetwork, I worked full-time hours, and you could get full-time or part-time. With Alorica, you have to be able to work no more than 40 hours, which I'm fine with. So yeah, I think that's it. Thumbs up this video, subscribe. Like I said, if you want to know anything else, hit me up and I will definitely answer them for you guys. And yeah, I will see y'all guys in my next video, like today's vlog. All right. If you're watching me for the first time and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Check out my other videos. And yeah, I'll see y'all guys in my next video. Pretty gang, I'm out. Bye.